Hello, dear friends. Charlie Masters here, and I'm here with my good friend Archdeacon Dan Gifford, who is Vicar of St. John's, Vancouver, and Regional Archdeacon. And we're trying to do what I've never done before, is cram the two of us into this screen of my little iPhone. It should be good. Dan, I recently commissioned as the chair of what's called the Harvest Task Force. Thank you, Dan, for accepting this important work.
You're welcome.
And I was wondering if you could tell people about the Harvest Task Force and who's involved with you.
Well, I'm really quite honored to be with this task force. They're a great group, a small group. So it's Archdeacon Daryl Critch from Newfoundland, and also Joyce Lee from here in Vancouver. And the nice thing is we've got two people from Vancouver, so I can make sure that the meetings are all local.
Way to go. And what is the task force about? What are you trying to do?
Well, what we're trying to do is to go with the mandate of the motion that we made at Synod of really engaging with the diocese, with the people in the churches, with the people who are clergy and working in ministry, to discern God's will. We want to know the mind of Christ on how we can best be structured in ANIC, how we can really do our ministry together that enhances the work of the gospel, that allows us to really go forward in a way that is needed in Canada and in New England right now.
Wonderful. I like it. So what have you been doing so far? It's early days.
Well, we've met several times by Zoom, which is a great way to do it, but also we had an all-day face-to-face meeting, the three of us did, which was a really lovely time together. It's just a good group to think through the issues that are facing us. And we met together and talked about the way forward and a process and how we will engage with the diocese.
Excellent. It would seem to me that communications with the whole diocese seems to be a really big part of your Harvest Task Force. And I know that recently a letter has gone out to all the congregations and also a survey. But what's that about?
Well, when we got together for our all-day meeting, we thought it's very important to be able to hear, first of all, from the churches, from the clergy, from the Synod delegates, and so we wrote up a questionnaire, and we've just had that sent out, and looking forward to the return of that. It's very important for us as a task force to hear from you, from the diocese as a whole, as we deliberate and think through what is the best way forward. So we're really looking forward to hearing the answers to those questions that we've given. Some of them are very open-ended, partly because we do want to hear what is going on in the life of the diocese as they prayerfully think through these issues of how the gospel work can be strengthened.
Wonderful. So we're asking that of every congregation. Congregation. When's the due date?
It's going to be March 15th, I believe it is. We wanted to give it a month, and we know that the Synod delegates have not all been elected yet, so we sent it out to all the clergy, but we want each church to send one questionnaire so that the Synod delegates would work together to think through and pray through their answers and send it to us.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, on behalf, as Dawson, and on behalf of the diocese, I want to thank you and Archdeacon Daryl and Joyce Lee for this really important work you're doing. Do you have anything else you want to add before we sign off?
We would just love your prayers for this work, and we're very encouraged by what God is doing here, and we're praying for God's unity and the mind of Christ as we go forward.
Wonderful. God bless.
Okay.